Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Anecdotal Economist, and today I'm going to talk about something pretty big indeed, and that is actually, it's a continuation of my last video, where I talked about something interesting, and that is the fact that, let's just pull this out of here for a second, that's the fact that after all of this talk about interest rates going up and how gold should be going down, gold once again this week is starting to go up again, and it looks like it's on track to go to 2,700 and possibly break all-time new highs. You never know. But it's really interesting to me. It's sort of a confirmation that right after I made a video about this topic, we immediately got into a discussion, or rather a situation, where gold and interest rates continued to make, well, I won't say all-time highs, but continue to go up in a positive direction. And I'm kind of wondering, is this a new paradigm? You see, what that would mean if they both go up simultaneously is it would mean we're going to have inflation or are currently having it, right? It means the market is either experiencing or anticipating a high degree of inflation. Now, there's been a lot of talk about a second wave of inflation. What do you want to own in that scenario? You tell me. I can tell you right now, what would make me feel a lot better is a big old handful of precious metals. And I don't mind this dirty junk silver either. It makes me feel just fine. So my question really comes down to, is there going to be more inflation? Because if there is going to be significantly more inflation, if we're not going to have this pullback that a lot of us are expecting because of interest rates, well, then you need to just buy precious metals, right? You're not going to wait for the precious metals to pull back. You just got to buy in. And so how do you answer that question? And the truth is there's a lot of different ways you could do it, and there's probably some people out there that have the time, access to information and connections that they could do a pretty good pinpoint shot. But as an upper middle class citizen, I can tell you right now, I don't have those connections and I don't have those answers. Now, I do my best. I like to listen to people and use my reason and logic to try to come to a conclusion. I like to make predictions. I don't think it's a fool's errand. A lot of people say, oh, it's a fool's errand trying to just give your money to the professionals and let them charge you 5% to make you 6%. I mean, come on. But I guess my point is I like to think about it. That's why I have a channel to talk about it. And so I'm always curious to hear your comments as well. But my point is that as I think about how this is going to react, I'm in a bit of a difficult scenario because on the one hand, gold's going to go up. And on the one hand, it's actually going to go down. It's not one of these situations where it's like, well, it might go up a little or it might go up a lot, right? And so I've really got to think about it. I've really got to put some time into this. And the way I'm planning to do that is I'm going to just watch things and let them play out. I'm not going to, dive in and make a bunch of big purchases because I'm afraid of inflation. Now, I know I say this nearly every video, but I have plenty of precious metals. If the price went to $10,000 tomorrow, would I say I wish I had bought more? Well, of course I wish I had bought more, but realistically, I don't need it. I already have enough that I'm hedged. And so my point is I'm not going to rush in and buy more. Now, again, if you have none, if you've never bought a piece of silver or gold, well, today is the day. Not because you're going to make money, but because you need to start sometime. And if you have none, well, let's just say you should get some of this insurance, this physical precious metal insurance. Man, that is a beautiful coin, right? Am I right? Be brushed off, though. It's just a little... Oh, yeah, that's better. Look at that shine now. So this is kind of a rant, as usual, and so for anybody who tuned in, I appreciate that, but it makes me think about this cash that I keep saved up. I have all these $100 bills, and it's funny, a funny story is these sleeves, I also use them to hold things like gold backs, which I'm kind of collecting. I'm actually going to make like a picture on the wall, I think, that has all the $1 gold backs just for fun, or not the $1, I shouldn't say $1, the 1/1000th of an ounce gold backs. I just think it's fun. And for all the people who hate on gold backs, good for you, man. It's $5. I like, really? You think I care? A cheeseburger costs more than $5. Anyways, my point is, I'm looking at these, and these sleeves come in a pack of 25. Okay, so you get 25 of these sleeves, and I bought these quite a while ago because of Thousand Air Radio. His channel is just a lot of fun. It's very different from mine, but I enjoy watching it, having a cup of coffee in the morning. And he just kind of shows what he's doing. I don't know anything about the guy. But he started putting his, $100 bills in sleeves to save up to buy his gold. And, so you get an ounce of gold and you change the physical cash out. And it just feels good. It's fun. It keeps my head in the game. and it stops me from wasting my money on other things. So I bought a pack of 25 of these plastic sleeves. But ironically, 25 of these is no longer enough to buy an ounce of gold. And that's problematic. That is extremely problematic. What do you do when you run out? Well, I'm going to have to spend another $10 or $5. I don't actually know what those sleeves cost. Whatever those cost, I'm going to have to buy another 25. Now think about this. Just think about this. If gold hits $5,000 an ounce, or say 5,050, I will need more than 2 packs of these plastic sleeves to get this same 1 ounce of gold. And I have to tell you that in the next 10 years, I think that's possible. Now, I'm not trying to predict exactly where it's going to go and how high. I mean, there's so many things. I mean, what if we got a government that was actually conservative? And I don't mean like right wing. I mean like fiscally conservative. Like they actually didn't spend more money than they had. I know that makes people's heads explode. Don't spend more than you own. Who could fathom it? But my point is, can you imagine that? Do you guys see how crazy that is? It just well, 1 year ago, this was enough, and it isn't anymore. And I think this inflation is really starting to pick up. And this brings us to a topic for another day of we need to make sure we don't lose cash. As much as cash is becoming worthless over time, if they get rid of cash, then money will be nothing. It will have no value. At least with this, once they've printed it, they can't really change the denomination. But when they go digital and you're just using a card all day long, you will officially be a slave. You'll just be swiping your card, you'll be taking digits out of your account, and you'll be working for digits, and it'll all mean nothing. Now, I agree, some people would say this already means nothing, but I digress. That's getting on to a totally different topic. And I think I've just beat it down. I just wanted to say, guys, I think there's more inflation coming. That's the point of this video. I know I went all over the place. The point of this video, I think there's more inflation coming. I really do. And I can give you a few reasons for that. I can show you a few charts. But essentially, it comes down to this. A lot of charts are bottoming right now. And I really think there's only 2 ways for this to go. One way is the economy goes through a whopping recession. And if that happens, okay, maybe gold doesn't perform so well. But if they pump money in, and history's shown us that's what they always do, I think we're going to get inflation. Now, we can't really know until January 20th, until we see some policy decisions. But I think based on what we're seeing with interest rates and the price of gold, the quote-unquote powers that be, those that are well-connected, they must have some idea. That's just my thoughts. Could mean nothing. Don't listen to me. But I appreciate you guys making it this far. So we're going to get into our review. Today we have a 1 ounce gold philharmonic. Now, silver philharmonics are actually my favorite silver coin. That's not a milk spot or anything. It's just moisture from my fingers. So this is the Republic Austrik 100 euro. It's their 1 ounce gold coin. And what's fun about these 1 ounce gold coins from the Austrian Mint is they're actually, I think, one of the biggest. They're biggest I own in my collection in terms of diameter. Very thin. Now, this is definitely not my favorite profile. I've always said I prefer maples, and I actually prefer eagles to these as well. I think everybody should own one of these. They're cool. They look cool. It's something a little bit different. And I like that they changed it up with the reeded edge. You know, just something different. Like, why do we all have to be exactly the same? So it's got this sort of shiny reeded edge. Very cool. Of course, if you like music, I mean, if you've got anybody musical in your family, you got to get a philharmonic. I always think of the sound of music when I think of this stuff. I don't know, does anybody still watch that anymore? At any rate, if I was to review this coin, I mean, it's a solid coin. The nice thing about these is they're basically as liquid as any second tier. I mean, you know, gold eagles in America, and I'll be frank, I think most countries, gold eagles do quite well. But there's sort of the second tier after that, and that's like your maples, philharmonics, Krugerrands, things like that. There's nothing wrong with these. These are highly liquid. There might be tight markets where you'd get a little bit less of a premium for something like this, right? Where there's just way too much gold selling, as I'm told by a lot of gold shops there is right now. So there are scenarios where you wouldn't want to sell these, but I always say a little bit of diversification in your stack is a good idea. I know some people don't think that. That's just my opinion. I think if you want to have the ability to sell different gold at any point in time, you never know when eagles are out of favor for whatever reason, or when philharmonics are in favor for whatever reason, and so you make a little bit more on the spread. So I just think it's nice to diversify, and I absolutely could recommend this coin as one of your gold coins. It is a 4/9 fine, which is also of added value in my humble opinion. So guys, let me know what you think of this coin. Let me know what you thought of the video. Always appreciate you watching. If you want to support the channel and you don't know what to say, but you want to leave me a comment, just throw in, today's word, I guess, would be music. A little music. With that, this has been the Anecdotal Economist. That's my 2 ounces worth. Remember, I'm pulling for you. And we're all in this together.
Kilogram, you're the dragon, you're the rabbit.
Okay, let's look at the money side now. Watch as I pull this bad boy out of here. Absolutely stunning once you get it out of the case. Feeling the weight of this in my hand. Oh, that's such a good feeling.
I never had enough gold.